Repercussions and consequences. Should have known better. Wish I never met her. True to the letter, I'll never forget her.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday. Now you might notice a few things that have changed in the background, and I do have a couple of guitars up on the wall finally, and I've been just playing with the foam squares to make the sound of the room a little bit better, but it's not finished yet. So as you can see, if I move to the side, I've done a little bit and there's other bits in this room, but yeah, it's all been kicking off, so it looks a little bit different, but hopefully you can hear me, you can see me, everything's fine. Hopefully the lights are going to last for the live stream, because this is something that I don't know yet how long the batteries last for. I know that they last for quite a while, and I've got about half battery left, so it should be fine. If everything goes dark, then you know exactly what's happened. But let me get you guys up on screen in the live chat room tonight. We have Lucy and Chris and Sam, Vince, Rocker Girl, Tammy, Billy, Robert, Diane, Michael, Bob's in there, Shawnee, Key, Carl, Corey, Bev, Selena, Constantia as well. Hello, thank you for joining me tonight, and just for getting involved on the channel in general. If this is your first live stream, hello to you. We do these on a Tuesday night and a Saturday night. Greenwich Mean Time, 12 midnight is the time that you want, but Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, is the time zone, so you guys can figure that out. Right, let's get everything organized on screen, and first of all, let me get the names of my patrons up on screen, because they make everything possible, including this live stream, but just everything that I do on YouTube, but just everything that I do in general. So massive shout out to these people at the bottom of the screen. You know who you are, and they do pop up in the super chat window and the PayPal donations window as well. So thank you guys for all of your support. Let's get tonight's likes goal up on screen as well. And there we have it. I think it's 365 for tonight. It should be on your screen on the top right hand side, but it's all a bit small for me to see. So yeah, 365 I think is the target, which again is a huge target. So we're looking for every single thumbs up we can muster. So as you come through the door, if you could leave a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. And I mean, Tuesdays have been quite good recently, so you guys that have been hitting that thumbs up, thank you guys so much for that on a Tuesday. I think actually we might have hit the goal more quickly on the Tuesdays recently, or more quickly than on Saturdays. So the Tuesday crew have been doing a great job, but I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge tonight, because I mean, it's just a ridiculously high number, but fingers crossed, we'll see where we end up. Right, let me get everything else up on screen, try and get everything organized. Just so you guys know, you don't have to donate, but if you feel like you want to or you can't resist, then the percentage split on YouTube is between 35 and 45% goes to YouTube, and on PayPal between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal. So you can choose whichever you want, and there's a PayPal link in the description below. If you want to go via the description, just click on that, it will be fine. So a big shout out to the moderators as well, and you'll be able to see Neil just about to pop through there, but you'll see Carla in there there as well, and Laurie and Susan and Dennis, they'll be in that live chat room somewhere. They do such a fantastic job, so big shout out to them for keeping everything in order. Right, I think we've pretty much got everything up on screen. We did have a couple of donations that came in before we went live, which then disappear. So I'm going to just quickly address those, because it was Orlando first through the gate with $1, actually with $2. So $1 and $1 added together. Thank you for that, Orlando. The message is spike the likes, wingers, with lots of thumbs up. So Paul is then backing up Orlando with a $2 donation. Thank you for that, Paul. And the message is, please spike the likes. Orlando's backup guy. Great idea from Paul and Orlando there. And here's a plug of the mug, which we always do when Orlando donates, but also when Paul donates, being Orlando's backup. If you want to get your hands on a Wings of Pegasus mug or any of the merchandise, then click on the link in the description below, or that you might have a tray underneath this video that has all of the merchandise just listed there, so you can click on that if you want, and you can get your hands on one of these Wings of Pegasus hoodies as well, which I'm kind of modeling tonight, and I think I haven't had it on for a little while, but it is on again now. So if you want to pick up t-shirts, caps, all that kind of stuff, head over to that spring.com store, link in the description below. So Terry donated $20 as well, which I think brings us up to date with the super chat donations, at least the ones that we can see on the screen. And Terry says goal, with the guy sliding on his knees. So not quite the likes goal that we're aiming for, not yet, because that would be definitely a new record at 10 minutes past midnight here in the UK. But thank you, Terry, for that $20 donation. And Orlando popped in again straight after that and donated $5. So thank you for that, Orlando. The message is, I like the new setup. Philip, question, what is your opinion of guitarists of the past? Hendrix and Townsend destroying their guitars on stage. So thank you for that, Orlando. And I mean, I think I have mentioned this before, where I saw an interview where it was, I don't know whether it's the management of The Who, but anyway, they said that the band in the early days were making a loss at every gig because of the amount of equipment they were destroying. So then they had to go and buy it again. And when they weren't very well known yet, of course, they were just losing money because it was quite expensive to have to replace everything. But I mean, I think anyone can just do what they want to do. I'm not really into destroying instruments, especially my own guitars, because they are my guitars. So I still want a guitar to play. If I had, loads and loads of money, and I had some guitars that I didn't own that I was just using for that gig, then, maybe I could destroy it, but I probably wouldn't. I'd keep it and just add it to my collection at home. So yeah, I'm not really into destroying guitars, but if people want to destroy guitars, if that's part of their thing that they do on stage, then they can go for it, and I don't mind. But it's not something for me. But thank you for that, Orlando. And Elsie has donated $16.99, and I think these are New Zealand dollars, so thank you for that. And the message is, can I please request a review of the song Brandy by Looking Glass, recorded in the early 70s, please? I first heard it on Ozark and looked it up on YouTube. People seem to love and adore the song. So thank you for that. I will add that to my request list. And thank you for that donation as well. And Stardust Unicorn has donated $5. Thank you for that. Support band to Wings of Pegasus, as we always say. And the message is, spike the likes, people. So if you could hit that thumbs up, that would be fantastic. So it seems like, because I've got foam up on the walls and everything, that it is a a deader sound, which is the point of doing it. But I haven't actually finished yet, but it's sounding like it's moderately successful so far. So I don't know what it sounds like the other side of the computer screen, but just talking, it does seem a lot less reflective, which is good. Probably hanging curtains up also helps to just dissipate those sound waves around the place, and not too many resonant frequencies going on, even though you might see over my right hand shoulder or on your left, as you look at the screen, we've got Mario's Maton hanging up on the wall. So I mean, that's something that I do reference on a Saturday when Mario's in their house, and on the other side you'll see the Fender Strat, which is the one that Fender sent to me very kindly, and the play button on the wall as well. So I have been a little bit busy hanging things up, and drilling, always a bad idea, and I did get some help from my family because my arm, I think it's just tempting fate too much if I was going to try and do it myself. But also it's good to get somebody else's input as to the height and getting it level and everything, and just making sure no mistakes are happening, because you only get to drill it once, and if your holes are slightly out of line, then you're going to have a wonky guitar. But I'm thinking whether there's space for another guitar next to the Fender, so I could grab a guitar from here. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. So obviously that'll be more manual labor, so might not be a good idea, or maybe I'll leave it for a little bit of time until my arm is better. But yeah, we've got a little bit more space off to the side here. Right, let's push forward. And I can see Corey says, what's the black and orange? So these are foam squares, so it's to stop sound waves from bouncing off walls, because with the foam it's absorbent anyway. So I don't know whether you might have been in a studio where you can see that the walls are either just covered in foam or very absorbent looking material. Sometimes you have things hanging on the walls that are like sound traps, so it just catches sound waves. Because if you just got flat walls, it means that when you're talking, when you make any noise, anything with a guitar, through an amp, just sound waves are reflected off the walls. So it means that you start to get frequencies that can even start to resonate like in the background. And you're in the studio, there are resonant frequencies at about 160 hertz, so it's down in that bass frequency, which is a little bit annoying because then you have to EQ that all out. Whereas it's a lot better to try and just treat the room as much as you can, so that you have to do minimal editing afterwards with all of these frequencies just making a really loud humming sound in the background, for example. So yeah, that's what they're doing, and you'll see their jagged edges as well, and you kind of crisscross them. So you're trying to make a random surface area for the wall, so that when the sound hits it, it hits it and goes off in random directions, rather than either going off and going straight off at the same angle that it hits it, or even worse, if you've got a straight wall behind you, which I don't have, fortunately. But if you have a straight wall behind your monitor or behind your mic, it means that it's going to hit that wall and come straight back at you. So you might have the sound waves going into the back of the mic, and then it starts to sound really messy with the mic and the vocal. So I mean, all of these things that you have to think about when you're setting up a microphone to do videos, but more importantly when you're setting up your microphone to do vocals. So if I was recording any vocals, what I would do is I'd probably wait till I've finished off the wall behind me, or I could actually set up a vocal space over the other side of this room that would just purely have foam behind the mic. So you'd be quite close to the wall, you've had loads of foam behind the mic, so that all of the sound waves are just getting absorbed and reflected by the foam, and you get a nice dead sound to your vocal, which means that any effects you add to it are purely in your DAW, your digital audio workstation. And it means that you get a really clean sound to work with first of all, and it's really the same principle as having a really clean guitar tone. It means that if you've got a clean guitar tone, anything you add to it's just going to embellish it. Whereas if you've got a vocal that has loads of resonant frequencies on there and you can hear, you know, almost like a plate reverb because of the room, you can't remove that. You just have to deal with that. So it's better to get your vocal as crisp and clean and dead as possible. But anyway, hopefully that makes sense. But it's why you see in lots of studios, you know, lots of foam padding on the walls. So thank you for the donations. Another one has come in from Lucy, and this is for $1. So thank you for that. And it looks like it's a straight up donation, and I can't scroll down, so I assume that it is. So thank you for that. Right. Oh, we haven't got the likeometer up on screen. We are at 205 likes so far. So we're closing in 160. That was a little bit easier for me to work out. 160 is what we were looking for. I think now 159 because it's gone up by one more. But if you can hit that thumbs up, that would be fantastic and massively appreciated in order to get ourselves up to the goal of 365. If we hit the target, then we're going to be having a pick roulette next week. And we have a pick roulette every time we've hit the target the week before. So if we hit it tonight, then you guys can enter in for next week's pick roulette, but we will be having one of those tonight. By the way, we have a vote for tonight's cover video. Let's see how that's getting on. At the moment, it looks like You Give Love a Bad Name featuring Cena on drums has 51% of the vote, so it is really close at the moment. And the other song that we have is Miles Away by Winger. So I can see Steve says, back in the day we used egg carton walls. So yeah, in the old studios, you'll see egg cartons, a very cheap way of getting a similar effect because the back of egg cartons are a really weird shape and it's made out of kind of a thin cardboard material, which is probably quite good. It's not as reflective as just having a wall, you know, like a brick wall. So yeah, that's what you'll see a lot of studios in as well. But nowadays, I mean, I just tend to go for foam. Also, it's a lot easier. I've found a system. There's lots of different ways of hanging up foam in your studio space, and I've gone for something called nanotape, which is this like ridiculously strong tape. But I've realized that when you warm up nanotape with a hairdryer, it becomes more tacky, so then you can remove it from the wall without doing any damage. So I've got nanotape with a little bit of Velcro, like double-sided Velcro, attached to it. So it means that the ones behind me are half using the Velcro and kind of half aren't. So the other ones are kind of hanging on to them. So if it all falls down behind me, that's probably because the non-Velcro ones have just given up. But at the moment, it seems to be that all the ones that I've hung up with the Velcro are doing fine, which means that I can take them down and reposition them if I want to. And yeah, I have actually ordered, I don't know how many more, maybe 24 more squares, because I'm not sure how much I'll do behind me, but I want to do like the back of the door, which is kind of over there. There's another part of the room over there which I want to do as well, which is quite far away, but that's where my amp is at the moment. So I'll probably figure out the wiring in order to get it all sorted. But I've got my Fender amp next to the desk over in this direction, so that's kind of in the corner there. So yeah, there's still quite a lot of space in here, so I think it's quite good that the sound is actually pretty good, at least just trying to gauge it from me talking and using my ears around the room to try and hear where the reflective places were. It was really like a kind of plate reverb before, so yeah, pretty good. Anyway, let's stop talking about foam and sound. We will continue on with this live stream as we always do. We usually start talking about totally random stuff. Hopefully, fingers crossed, a little bit of music and music related things. And with that, I am going to jump into the PayPal donations window, because I do like to address all of these, even the ones that happen between live streams, because there was one that happened, this was earlier today at 37 minutes past 9 this morning. So thank you for this. And it's Johanna who has donated £30. So thank you for that. Let me get this up on screen so you guys can see it as well. It is a straight up donation, and there we can see it on the screen. So let me just scroll up and let me make this a little bit more centralized. We have a donation that's come in from Steve for £5 as well. Thank you for that, Steve. And the message is, where is the coolest place you ever played? Where would be your dream location to play? So thank you for that, Steve. And I'm trying to think of both the coolest place I've played, but also the coolest / coldest place I've played. And fortunately, I can't remember performing anywhere where it was really cold, which is good because, I mean, cold temperatures are very bad for guitar hands, and as you guys can imagine, when you are really cold and if you try and just button up your shirt or something, it becomes impossible because you don't have the dexterity in your fingers to be able to do that. So imagine that and trying to play the guitar. So it's not very good playing in cold conditions. But the coolest place, as in the best or enjoyable place to play, I would say I probably mentioned these venues in the last live stream, or at least maybe a couple of live streams ago. Probably the Grand in Clapham Junction. If anyone's played there, you'll know that's really nice venue. The Agincourt, actually, which is a venue that I think it's in Camberley from memory, but loads of bands have played there from back in the day. I think Ozzy Osbourne and all those kinds of bands played there. Obviously the O2 in London, the Indigo at the O2, which is another really nice venue. Boston Music Rooms is quite nice. Again, these are London venues. Obviously Wembley Arena, I mean, that was good fun, just to have a mess around in Wembley Arena. So yeah, that was cool. I mean, pretty much any of those, but I think because the Indigo at the O2, I'm not sure what it's referred to at that venue, but that was the final of a National Battle of the Bands thing where Wings of Pegasus finished third out of 10,000 bands, but I think it went over about 9 months of gigs you do to get to the final in London. And the final, I mean, it's convenient for me because the final was in London and I was just outside London, so I just had to travel in. But it was in London for all the other bands. So if you're in Liverpool or Manchester or whatever, you have to travel down to London for the final. And yeah, I mean, that was just, a cool event, and you get your family down and everything, and it was in a really cool venue as well. So yes, that was very enjoyable. So I'd probably say there, but I think there are so many venues that have been enjoyable to play at that I don't think I really think about one and think, oh yeah, that was the best one. You just kind of have memories in all of the gigs that you've played, which, I mean, I forget a lot of the venues. Like some people would say, oh, have you ever played at this venue in this town? If it's relatively local, if it's probably within about an hour's drive, I probably have. But it's like somebody commented on YouTube and said, oh, I saw you at this venue, however many years ago. And I remembered your name, and they've got a CD or whatever from that long ago, and I couldn't even remember the gig, but it had to have been Wings of Pegasus because and it was me. So yeah, you just kind of forget all the venues and all the gigs that you've done. But yeah, there have been a lot of enjoyable ones. But thank you for that, Steve. And I'm just going to scroll up because there has been another donation that's come in from Tammy, and Tammy has donated £25. Thank you for that, Tammy. And the message is, what qualities make a good guitarist? Now, I mean, that is the question, and the answer to this is going to be subjective because some people love guitarists who have the ability to play really quickly. Some people love guitarists who play with more feel and have slower sections. Some players love guitarists that do bends or just play straight notes or vibrato or don't vibrato. So yeah, it's difficult to say, but I would say the the qualities that make a good guitarist is probably self-awareness, and I would say that is the same for singers. Being self-aware, i.e. the level that you are at and what you're aiming for and what you want your guitar to sound like. So you might listen to a guitarist. I'm going to bring in singers here as well. So you might know a guitarist or a singer and like the way that they play. So you start to copy some of their techniques, or you see what they're doing, how they are expressing themselves on their instrument, and you take on some of those qualities but add it to your own style of playing so that you get to sound exactly how you want to sound. And I think when you get to that point, then it's important to be self-aware. And it's really important to be self-aware as a vocalist as well, because what I mean by that is recording yourself, listening to it back. And now there's even the technology where you can record your voice, and as we've seen in the analysis videos, using pitch monitoring software, you can just put your voice into a pitch monitor and see exactly where your voice sits. And you want to be relatively close to lines tuning wise, but don't worry about hitting them dead on all the time, just getting close. Because I think a lot of singers, typically the singers that you see on the singing competitions on TV, where it's a bit out of order because they've been put through all of the producer rounds, of which there are 3 or 4, before you even get to the TV stage. So they're thinking that they're getting through because they're a good singer, whereas they're actually being put through so that everyone can laugh at them and the judges can say, oh, unbelievable, I can't believe this person's auditioning, look at how bad they are. But you don't get to see that those people have been built up to think that they are good and then just get shot down, unfortunately, by the judges on their audition. So with auditionees like that, it's important to know where you are. Listen to your voice back. If you can't hear that you're out of tune or not hitting notes accurately, then record your voice, put it through a pitch monitor, just use software. It's a free app. The ones that I use on my analysis videos, the reason that I'm using that app is so that everyone can use it, so it is accessible. I think it's pointless for me to go into my digital audio workstation and show you a plugin that plots out pitch that is maybe £300 to £500. So then when somebody says, oh, well, how do I get better at singing? How do I use an app? I can say, well, you can use this app. It's free. Download it and get straight on the case of just seeing how accurate you are vocally. So same with guitar. Just, practice. Make sure your guitar's in tune and just try and get your bends as accurate as possible. And I mean, there's a lot of expression in playing, so just make sure that you are playing the way that you want to. So when you listen to it back, you think, yes, that is what I want to sound like. And then once you reach that level, you've got nobody else to try and impress, because it's your voice through that instrument, or it's your voice, literally, vocally. If you're singing, people can take it or leave it. That is just what being an artist is. You just do what you do. If people like it, great. If they don't, it doesn't matter, because you're enjoying what you're doing. But anyway, thank you for that, Tammy. And I think that can be related to what qualities make a good guitarist and a good vocalist. But thank you for that. And just scrolling into another one, Maria has donated £1.54. Thank you for that. And the message is, spike the links, everyone. So thank you for that, Maria. And spike the likes, of course. Maria, a little bit like me there with the typing, just smudging lots of different keys. But we know exactly what Maria means. So thank you for that. Great idea to hit that thumbs up. We're looking for 104 more likes to get to tonight's huge target of 365. It is way up there, but we will see where we end up by the end of the live stream. 32 minutes past midnight here in the UK, so we've still got a fair amount of time, about 45 minutes, is that? Yeah, or just under. So fingers crossed, we'll see if we can get there. We will be having a pick roulette tonight. Let me just give a quick plug to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. And I did have a quick look on there. earlier, just when I was setting up the live stream, and I think there's over 700 members there now. So things are getting crazy over on Facebook. If you are a Facebook user, just head over to that Wings of Pegasus supporters group page. Just type that into the search bar and you'll find it, and then you can join in the conversation with all these lovely people between the live streams. That's where a lot of them do hang out. So I'll just have a quick scroll up in that PayPal window, because Laura has donated £7.68. So thank you for that. And the message is, enjoyed watching your smiling face when analysing Mickey Gilly. Also enjoyed hearing you reference the Fun Police and saying honky tonk. Are you wearing a new t-shirt? So thank you for that, Laura. And no, this isn't a new t-shirt. I don't know how long I have had it, but it is one of those that I do wear, but maybe when I've got my hoodie zipped up, it means that you don't actually get to see, you might just see the top of Rory Gallagher's head there, but it's because it's a little bit warmer tonight, so it means that yes, I've just got the shirt on show. But thank you, Laura, for that. And oh yeah, over on Patreon, I think a few people weren't sure what the Fun Police thing meant, or they thought it was something political. And yes, with that, I think because I don't drink, I think that anybody that is drinking, and that song kind of involves, drinking and drinking too much, and doing scores with somebody that's drunk, or maybe I wasn't quite understanding how it went, but I was just going along the lines that if people want to drink, and if they want to get to a point where they can't think straight, then that's up to them. I think that people should be free to enjoy themselves and have fun, and it's not something that I do. I don't drink myself, but yeah, I think if people want to do that, it's absolutely fine. And so just maybe things got lost in translation a little bit there, but anyway, thank you for that, Laura. And just going to scroll up because there's been another donation that's come in from Sue. So thank you for this, Sue. And this is a £15 donation. So thank you for that. And it is a straight up donation as well. We have been seeing the messages underneath the donations. So thank you for the messages as well. I think they will be attached to the PayPal donations. I think maybe it was just a bit of a mistake with PayPal, and then they started to sort it out. Maybe they got messages from people, and I think I tried to contact them about it, but I'm not sure whether the message got through. Maybe they did get a lot of questions, or people saying that there was something wrong with it. So anyway, thank you for that, Sue. Let me just scroll up because Geraldine has donated £7.68. So thank you for that, Geraldine. And the message is, arrived late. What did I miss? So what have you missed? Just coolest venue, and there's probably lots of other stuff, other questions, and yeah, it's just the normal kind of live stream thing that we have going on. You haven't missed yet the cover that we're going to be doing a little bit later on, or that I'm going to be playing. So it's between You Give Love a Bad Name featuring Cena, a great drummer here on YouTube, and we have Miles Away, the Winger track. So have a little vote for that. If you do want to click on the thumbs up for this live stream, that would be much appreciated. We are aiming for a huge target of 365 tonight. So Geraldine, if you haven't used your thumbs up yet, that would be much appreciated. So let me just scroll up because Don has donated £15 as well. Thank you for that, Don. And that is a straight up donation as well, without a message on there. So let me just scroll up again because there's been another donation. And this is 1234, a donation from Lisa F in the house. And Lisa, thank you for that. The message is, the studio is looking great, Phil. When you write music, what inspires you? Shout out to the other Lisas in the trifecta. And the rest of the wingers spike the likes. So thank you for that, Lisa. And I think when writing music, it's something that you've either got an inkling as to, a song that you want to write or a message that you want to put out there, or if you're trying to force out a song, that's where it gets really difficult. Just sometimes you will just be inspired to write something and it'll happen really quickly, and that was pretty much the case with Paris Nord. Running Blind as well was just a song that I wanted to write because I think just the state that the world is in, you kind of have to get it off your chest, and also just to ask a question, just put images out there that might make people think about particular things as to what's going on in the world. But it's just pretty much you have to wait for inspiration to strike. That's very much the way that I approach it. But especially I find that before, when I wasn't really doing much and just trying all I could, or trying to think of things to do in order to get my music out there a little bit more, I obviously had a lot more time, and I didn't have over 250,000 subscribers. As soon as that kind of thing happens, then a lot of time is taken up. In fact, all of your time is taken up, so you don't really have the time just to sit down. And if you do sit down and go, right, let's try and write a song, it's probably the worst way of doing it. You've got to kind of be in a relaxed environment, and then something can just pop into your head, or a riff can happen. And what tends to happen is a riff might happen on the guitar, and then I say might happen, you might just play a riff and you think, oh wow, that's really interesting. So you then get your phone out and record that, and just have it in the log of lots of different riffs that might eventually turn into a song when you then refer back to them. But thank you for that, Lisa. Just scrolling up, and Janet has donated £11.52. Thank you for that, Janet. And the message is, when you hit a creative wall, where do you get inspiration? So thank you for that, Janet. And I don't really know, because I don't think I've ever sat down, and I've never written music sitting down, forcing myself to do it. And this is why I believe there are 11 songs on my album called Persistence, because I did have the idea of having 12 songs, and I sat down and thought, right, let me write another song for the album so that there are 12 on the album. But then I thought, well, why should I write another song for the sake of writing another song? Why don't I just release the 11 that I'm happy with? Because I thought there'd be nothing worse than releasing 11 songs you're happy with, and then one song that you just wrote to get it on the album, to make the album have 12 songs. So yeah, it seemed totally pointless for me to do that, so I just released it with 11 songs on. And I pretty much take that approach with writing songs, that I feel like, if inspiration hits, then that's great, and you write the song and you record it. More often than not, you will listen to it with fresh ears, which is when you come back to it maybe a day or two later, and then you start to think whether the song is going to be a good song, or you might feel like, oh no, that actually wasn't a good idea. It's might have felt like a good idea at the time, but no, it isn't as strong as I thought it was. So you might just get rid of that and then start on something new. But sitting down and trying to force out a song, for me, is not the way that I like to do it. I know that some people, and this is another advantage of being independent, is that you're not signed to a record label who are saying, right, we need another 5 songs by next week because we're going to start pressing the album and it's going to get released in 8 weeks time, and we need to do all of the preparation for the publicity, the tour, yada yada yada. So you're not under that pressure as an independent artist. So this is why a lot of bands who are signed to major labels especially start to release albums that you think, well, this isn't as good as their first album. It's just literally they are rushing out songs, like anything they can come up with, because they're on a deadline. They go, right, okay, let me think of a song, D, A, G, C. Okay, let's just put those chords together, come up with something. Okay, that's the first song done. Right, next one, G, D, A, C. A minor. You think, they're just sticking these chords together and doing whatever they can to get 10 songs together to then get it released on time. So again, another advantage of being independent. So I haven't been under that pressure of needing to release an album by a set date. I think it's good to have targets, but it doesn't matter if for the quality of the product, you just take a bit more time to make sure that you're happy with it, because it's your album. So you might as well be happy with your own music. I can't imagine releasing something that you're not proud of. I'm sure that loads of artists have done that because of the pressures of the music industry, but it's not really how art works, and music is art. But unfortunately, the music industry doesn't really see it like that. For them, it's all about the money. So anyway, thank you, Janet, for that. And Kevin has donated £1 as well. So thank you for that, Kevin. And the message is, Phil, is the new space in the front or the back of the house? Is there a lot of noise from the street? So thank you for that, Kevin. And it's at the front of the house. So in that, like that wall, or the wall that's behind the camera, I'm not straight against a wall here. The wall is angled, so it's kind of going down there. And I've got, I don't know whether you guys or the people that did see the live stream, where I'd literally just set everything up really quickly. In the background, you could see kind of the length of the room with my amp in the background, and there was like a door and the windows without any curtains on, but now there's curtains and curtain rails all up and everything. So over in that direction is the kind of, I'd say, quite a large part of the room. So I'm kind of in the corner of the room here, but it works out well. But it goes away, so there's not a straight wall behind, but that wall does go out to the front of the house, and it's not noisy out the front at all. So the road is a quiet road, which is good. And it's 1:45 here in the morning. So when I do my videos, I mean, generally my analysis videos are, recorded late. So it means that people aren't really traveling very much. But then even during the day, I wouldn't say that it's, really loud. You can't hear any cars really going. I mean, I am outside West London, so it's not really busy. And even still, I think at 1:45 in the morning, especially on weekdays, people have already gone to bed. So it's pretty much just me still awake in this room, just in my own little space, just doing this, and everyone else has gone to bed, which suits me fine. And I won't be going to bed until probably about 5:30 or 6 a.m. So it means that I can get all of my work done when everybody else is in bed and everything's nice and quiet, and I'm not competing with any background noise. But not that I think there'd be much anyway, but I really minimize that by just the fact that I do these live streams and the videos so late on here in the UK. But as you can see, maybe in the top left hand side of the screen, it is 45 minutes past midnight here in the UK, which means we're going to have to move along with the live stream. Let me just mention that Carl has donated £3. Thank you for that, Carl. And this is a pizza or Chinese or cross the pond fund. So thank you for that, Carl. And haven't had pizza in a while. Haven't had Chinese in a while. The Cross the Pond Fund, yes, that is still anything that I can put in that, I will do indeed. But fast food wise, I mean, earlier tonight I had cheese on toast. I was in a bit of a rush because I'm still organising things here. Like I said, I've got things that I've still ordered, like the foam. I've got more of that coming. Then I'm gonna have to attach it, cut up my nano tape, get the Velcro out, experiment with putting that on the wall, all that kind of stuff. So still busy goings on here. And just cheese on toast earlier tonight, so it means that I'm going to be pretty hungry by the end of this live stream, already getting a bit hungry. And I know that the picture we're going to be looking at a little bit later on from Kevin, I mean, Kevin keeps us up to date with what he's got on his menu for live stream evenings. So we'll be taking a look at that a little bit later on. But we are going to have to move on. When I say a little bit later on, it's going to be pretty soon, because we are going to be jumping into tonight's cover. And let me just end this vote. I didn't see which one was at the top there. and it looks like it's going to be You Give Love a Bad Name featuring Cena on drums. So we are going to be jumping into that. Then we'll have a look at Kevin's picture, and we'll jump into the pick roulette after that, and we'll have a little look as to what we can fit in by the end of the live stream. Maybe a fill tune or riff of the week. We'll see how much time we have, but at the moment probably just under half an hour left. But anyway, I'll see you guys after this. I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for voting for it. Rock!
Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. Darling, you give love a bad name. Angel smile is what you say. You promised me heaven and put me through hell. The chains of love got a hold on me. When passion's a prison, you can't break free. Whoa, you're a loaded gun. Yeah. Whoa, there's nowhere to run. No one can save me. The damage is done. Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give love a bad name. Play my part, and you played your game. You give love a bad name. You give love a bad name. Angel smile on your lips, blood red nails on your fingertips. The schoolboy's dream, you act so shy. Your very first kiss was your first kiss goodbye. Whoa, you're a loaded gun. Whoa, there's nowhere to run. No one can save me. The damage is done. Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give love a bad name. I play my part, and you played your game. You give love a bad name. Oh, you give love. Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give love a bad name. I play my part, and you played your game. You give love a bad name. Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give love a bad name. I play my part, and you played your game. You give love a bad name. You give love. You give
And there we have it. That was a little bit of Bon Jovi for you. You Give Love a Bad Name featuring Cena on drums. So it looks like we are at 331 likes so far. We are closing in on tonight's likes goal, which is up there, 365. So it means that we're looking for another 332. Is that? So we're at 333. So, I mean, we've still got a long way to go for tonight's. I mean, we've still got a little bit of time. So, fingers crossed we're going to be able to make it. But if you haven't used your thumbs up so far in this live stream, then it'll be massively appreciated if you could use it in order to get us to that target so that we can have another pick roulette next week, because that's what happens when we hit those targets. Let me just jump into that super chat window, because there has been another donation or two, and let me just scroll down. I can't remember where we got to, but Lucy donated $1, so thank you for that. I think we might have got that far, but then Mr. Odum's Digital Dojo donated $2, so thank you for that. And the message is, let's hear Paul Stanley Bulletproof, so thank you for that. I'm not sure whether that's an analysis request, but thank you for that request. Lucy's donated $5 again, so thank you for that, Lucy. The message is, what are your thoughts about British artists being unable to perform in Europe? So thank you for that. And I'm not sure what that refers to, if there's been something that's happened in the news that I haven't really kept up with. But I think pretty much, I mean, with COVID, there was a time where particular countries were on the red list, which meant that you couldn't travel there and you definitely couldn't play there. But I'm pretty sure that British artists can perform in Europe. At the moment, the only times that they wouldn't be allowed to perform in Europe is if they were, arrested, or they were found to have had, some drugs in their luggage or something like that. That's generally how it tends to go. And then they might be prohibited from traveling there, and, well, just traveling full stop, but then, obviously playing as well. So, yeah, it might be something that I've just totally missed, where there'll be maybe particular countries that aren't open for British artists, but I can't see that happening, considering that, back in the 60s, the Beatles were going over to, Germany and performing there, and, performing all over Europe was a huge thing for so many bands in the 60s, including going all the way over to the USA, which was quite a journey. But yeah, that British invasion that happened was just a huge part of music over in the USA as well. So yes, anyway, thank you. I'm not really sure what that refers to, Lucy, so maybe there can be a little bit of an update in the live chat room as to what that refers to, whether there's a particular band in particular that might have been not allowed to play in Europe recently. But thank you anyway for that donation. And Scott has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Scott. And the message is the guy doing a mic drop. So thank you for that, Scott. The picture of the guy. And I'm just having a little look in that live chat room to see if there's anything about the European thing, and I can see a little bit further down, Elsie says, is it an European Union thing? So I mean, what's happened with Europe and the UK is that we've exited we've exited Europe now, so the UK is independent, but the relationship with Europe is still the same. So it doesn't mean that we're banned from going into Europe or playing gigs or doing, going to these countries as we normally would. It's just that we're now an independent entity, so we have to trade it as a different country rather than being part of the European Union. But yeah, to my knowledge, it hasn't really affected anything. So let's see. Oh yeah, in relation to, I can see that LaBelle says quite a few events on continental Europe have been cancelled because of the war. So yes, obviously the war is a different side of things. I was talking more, when people say Europe, I'm thinking of Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, and the countries that are just over the water where a lot of bands tend to play from the UK. Those are the countries that they go to. They'll do a tour in France, Italy as well, for example. They're all share borders. So you just go to that area that are just the other side of the water from the UK, and not really talking about going all the way over to, you know, Ukraine or Russia, which is very much a long distance in order to play there if you are gigging there. But obviously, because of things going on in Ukraine and, you know, Russia, unfortunately, it means that everything takes a back seat because of the horrendous situation there. So in relation to that, what I think is, I mean, life has got to take precedence over anything else. And if things get cancelled, that's just the way that it is, because it's really important just to focus on just trying to sort the situation out. But it just does seem ridiculous that in 2022 there's a war being waged on another country. I have said in the live streams before that we don't really get political in the live streams, but I mean, my standpoint is that it's just a flawed logic, which I have mentioned before, that you don't attack another country and invade another country because you think that they're going to invade you. That doesn't work, because then you all end up invading each other because you all think that the other's going to invade you. I said about, it's like somebody having a gun. You know your neighbours have got a gun, so you shoot your neighbour because they've got a gun, and you think, well, that means they could shoot me. Then the person next door to you shoots you because you've got a gun. The next door neighbour shoots them because they had a gun. It's a flawed logic. It means that you're going to wipe everybody out, and at best there's going to be one person left, but one person can't continue the human race by themselves. So it's just a flawed logic to invade somebody because you thought they're going to do, or that you think they're going to do something in the future. The only reasonable, for me at least, the only reasonable action for attacking another country is in self-defense when they have invaded you, because there's always someone who's the aggressor and someone who was passive, who wasn't invading. And unfortunately, the world can see what's going on, but the people in Russia, they don't get the mainstream media. It's all been, shut out. And you've got to ask the question that if you're blocking out all of the media from the rest of the world, then surely people would think, and maybe Russians will find out the truth at some point in the future. I don't know, maybe 30 years time or 50 years time, however long Putin is in power for, but they'll hopefully look back and realize that it's always suspicious when one country is blocking out everybody else's reports. Because if you were doing the right thing, it doesn't matter what anyone else is saying, because you're doing the right thing and people will support you naturally, as everyone supports Ukraine, and certainly everyone is standing with them at the moment, quite rightly. But let's move away from the politics and let's now move forward with the picture that we're going to be taking a look at. And we all know already that this is just going to have a quick look at what Kevin has on the go for tonight's, I don't actually think it was tonight's live stream. This was a little picture preview from, it's not really a preview, but what has happened before. Let me get this up on screen so that we can actually see it. And here we go. This is it. So this is Kevin's meal for tonight. We can see that I have said about the Terry's chocolate orange before, but it was a shape of an orange. But now we have the shape of the orange replaced by a bar. And we do have these here in the UK, but it looks like they're a little bit bigger in the USA. You get more bang for your buck, quite literally, with these. So we've got a little bit of squash on the go, as well as a Wings of Pegasus mug. So thank you for uploading that one, Kevin, and making everybody really hungry. And it looks like we have hit our likes goal for tonight. So a massive shout out to you guys for hitting that thumbs up. Thank you so much for doing that. It means that we will be having another pick roulette next week. So the entrance for that, or the entries for that, doesn't open until after tonight's pick roulette. So let me get that on the go. Let's jump into it and see who's going to be the lucky winner tonight. So see you guys in a second. Rock. So let's get the wheel up on screen. And it looks like our pick roulette wheel is a bit wonky tonight. Let me see if I can adjust it somehow. Oh, that's working. So it's gradually getting more centralized. There we go. Right, if this is your first pick roulette, the darker segments here are the t-shirts. And if we land on one of those, then we have a t-shirt roulette. If we land on anybody else's name, then they go away with the signed Wings of Pegasus pick that you can see in the middle of the wheel. And I haven't picked a top tip yet, so I'm going to pick Dodge Challenger. And as you guys know, I have a 0% winning record at picking the winner before we spin the wheel. So let's give it a click to get it spinning, and let's see who is going to win. So Dodge Challenger is the top pick for tonight. Could this be the night I actually pick the right person before they win? We will see. It is starting to slow down. I always like to try and see the name anywhere. I haven't spotted it, I don't think. Oh, look at this Dodge Challenger. Pretty close, but it's not to be tonight. It looks like it might be Chris or Rocker Girl. And it just hung on to be Chris. So congratulations to you, Chris. And I don't know why. I mean, we have had a lot of winners on the pick roulette. I don't know why I've got this feeling that Chris has maybe won before, so he might be really, really lucky, or I'm imagining that. But anyway, congratulations to you, Chris. You have to be in it to win it, as I always say. If you can let yourself be known, Chris, in that live chat room to Carla, that would be much appreciated. And commiserations to everybody else, including Dodge Challenger. I maintain my 0% record, and good luck to everybody for the next one. I always say double your chances so that you don't need quite as much luck, but if you do tune in on Saturdays and Tuesdays, obviously you're going to double your chances of winning, because we have a pick roulette on both of the live streams. 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time is always going to be that time. I'll always be here live streaming, even if nobody else is, but thankfully you guys do join me regularly, so a big thank you to you guys for doing that. Am I back on? I think I'm back on, so that's all fine. I don't know why the pick roulette wheel was a little bit off the screen, and I don't know why that just looked like it was loading a little bit, but we are fine. Excuse me, just while I cough. And I think we are just about ready to open up the entries for next week's pick roulette. So let me just... I don't know whether I had a bit of dust that went into my throat there. That's trying to totally throw me off, because it feels like... Let's have a quick swig of water. Let me just wash it down. I always have a bottle of water handy, and tonight it's in a red grape juice bottle, which I finished off earlier today, so it makes a very good bottle for... I always say that having water handy is really important, especially if you're singing, to regularly take swigs of water. I should probably drink more water during the live streams, because usually I just talk for about an hour or longer without actually drinking anything, so probably a good idea. But anyway, I think it's dislodged the bit of dust, but I'm going to have a drink anyway. That would have been good if I choked on the water, because as you guys will know, when you choke on water, you then can't talk for about 5 minutes, let alone sing. So that is a nightmare scenario if you are playing live. Always be careful when you sip your water or whatever you're using to drink, or to keep those, or that throat a little bit, moist. Keep that, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here, but keep the vocal cords nice and loose, but keeping a moist throat is really important with singing, because sometimes, if you then have to clear your throat and you get problems, really important to have water by the side of you on the stage. Anyway, I'm getting a bit sidetracked here. You guys can see at Carla Murray is what we need to type in to get your name on next week's Pick Roulette Wheel. So the entries are now open. You'll be able to see on the side of the screen in the live chat room, everybody else is now entering. I can see Totoro Porga says, does Phil have a cat? Verbal, maybe. No, I don't have a cat. But breaking news is that there was a cat outside that I saw a few days ago, and it's got, I don't know why it's doing this, but it's got into the habit of running over my car after going through mud. So yeah, the other day I was looking at my car, and I do like to keep my car clean and, you know, as pristine as possible. I do like to keep things clean. So I keep my car very clean inside and out, and sure enough, when I went to my car the other day, there are mud paws all over, you know, the hood, and, you know, the windscreen as well. It's like, oh, what is that cat doing? So yeah, I haven't actually cleaned it since then, but there's a bit of cat news for you. There's a very annoying cat that just loves going over my car, so I might have to buy a car cover in order to stop it from happening. Anyway, join in for next week's Pick Roulette. Type at Carla Murray. Make sure that you tag Carla in your comment and type I agree, and that means that you'll then have your name on next week's Pick Roulette Wheel. Right, we are going to be jumping into either a riff of the week or maybe a Phil tune. I'm trying to see how much time we've got left, maybe 5 or 6 minutes. So we could jump into, let's have a look what was requested over on Patreon. And actually, let me just address a donation that's come in over on PayPal from Carla. That was £5.39. So thank you for that. And I might be able to get this on screen so you guys can see it as well. And just scroll down. There is a straight up donation. So thank you for that, Carla. And then Daryl donated £2.15. So thank you for that, Daryl. And that's a straight up donation. And Lauren has donated £25. Thank you for that, Lauren. And the message is straight up donation. So thank you, Lauren, for that straight up donation. Right, we are up to date there. And Orlando's just donated $5 as well in the super chat window and says, I just posted a picture on the Wings of Pegasus fan page on Facebook. Check it out. Rock. Hint with like, don't know what that is. Oh, it might be a picture of some food. So thank you for that, Orlando. And I don't think, I'm going to be able to go and check it now, because trying to load up any other screens while I'm live streaming is a bad idea, because, it could potentially freeze everything that I'm doing, because just to run all the software and keep it all nice and smooth as it is at the moment, I don't want to tempt fate by loading up other things. But if you are part of the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook, you can go and check out that post from Orlando, and you can just go and check that out. Anyway, the group, join in with that and join these lovely people. I know that Vince also hosts the after party, so you can join in for that as well after this live stream. But after all of the live streams, let me just have a quick look on Patreon to see what was requested over there. I'm just going to scroll down because we had a riff of the week requested a couple of times. I can see scrolling down, and a riff of the week again from D. So there are some Phil tunes requested right at the end. It's probably about even between the riff of the week or the Phil tune. So maybe we'll go for a riff of the week if that's going to work. Again, hopefully I've done this correctly. So for the riff of the week, you have to name a number between 1 and 100, and then I'll just pick out a number at random. We'll jump into the riff, we'll see what it is, and the first one to get it correctly then wins. And it's you don't win anything, but the first one to get it correctly on my screen, that's an important part as well, because in people's live chat rooms, the comments sometimes are in a different order. So it's all down to, in this live chat room, whoever does it first, whoever guesses the riff correctly first is going to be the winner. So I'm looking for lots of numbers, and they are starting to come through in the live chat room. So I'm just going to wait for a few more to go through. We've got Constantia says 86, Billy 51, Francis 85, Deborah 88, Lisa 83, Lauren is about to go through saying 55. So we will pick out, I think, what about Lisa A about to go through 46? So we're going to have a look at number 46 for the riff of the week, and theoretically I type in riff of the week 46 and it should show up, and it has shown up. Unbelievable. So I will click on that, and I'm going to have to mute that and get this all organized on screen. And there's an advert as well, whereas you guys don't want to have to see that. So I'll wait for this to go through and then pause it so that it stays at the beginning, please. Right, that is now all set up. Always takes a little bit of time, obviously, because I'm picking out a random riff out of the 100. Takes a little bit of time to get it up on screen, but there it is. So we'll have a listen to this, and I mean, if I can remember what it is, that's always a bonus, but throwing this out into the live chat room. Let's have a listen. Ooh. And there we have it. This is advanced because even I couldn't remember this riff to begin with, but I now have it in my head. This, I don't think anyone's going to get this one, and this is why it's called an advanced, because I don't think it's very well known. It's a hard rock band from late 80s, early 90s, and I'm not going to give anybody any clues, but I think you have to be you have to be a proper fan of this band to even know this riff. So I can see that nobody's really getting it so far. Steve says Judas Priesty, and Lauren says Black Sabbath. Having a little look down. I tell you what, I will give you maybe about 20 seconds, 30 seconds. I have a little look through. Michael Schenker, Motorhead, no, and no. Mr. Big, no. So I'm going to keep waiting. I think, Mackie's in the right kind of ballpark with Dokken, but not really. It's because it's not Dokken and it's no members of Dokken. Metallica, Black Sabbath again, Radiohead is in there as well. So nobody's guessing this. Right, I'm going to tell you what it is. I don't think anyone's going to get it. Melanie just said Kiss, but it's not. Lisa said Lynch Mob. Let me just make sure that shows up. Orlando says Warrant. And Brian says Whitesnake, so we're in the right kind of ballpark. Rat as well, Morgan says. So, this is the thing, is a little bit later. So, it is a Winger track. So, Kip Winger, and this is a song called Never. And the song Never was not, I believe it wasn't officially released on any Winger albums, but it was released on the demo anthology, which is where they released demos of songs that they didn't record or release on albums, and Never was one of those songs. So from the demo anthology, it was Winger, and this is why it was labelled advanced, because I know before we've had like Led Zepp riffs and ones that are really easy to get, but this one was really difficult. So I can see that Rad Flying V said Winger, so we had the band, but yeah, it was Never was the name of the song, and it's a really cool riff. I don't know why they didn't release it on an album and just released it on the demo anthology, but yeah, really cool one to play as well. So thank you guys for attempting that. That's the first one we've had, I believe, where nobody has known the answer. So it's good that we mix it up by having one of those now and again. So thank you, Elisa, for saying that number. It looks like I've got like a box as a body at the moment, so let me get rid of this so that we're back now to normal. We are going to be calling things to a close now, and I just want to make sure that everything is up to date with our donations, which we are. So thank you guys so much for all of your donations throughout the live stream tonight, and for hitting that thumbs up. If you are watching this in the future on catch up, then you can still just have a quick spike of the likes at the end of the live stream. It really does help this live stream to get out there, but for the channel to grow as a whole as well. So thank you guys for joining me live, but also watching in the future. We are going to be back with another video tomorrow night, another analysis video on Friday night, and then we'll be live streaming again on Saturday night. So make sure that you tune in then. It could be your lucky night in the pick roulette. If you tuned in last Saturday and you entered from then, we'll always have the pick roulette the next week. So that'll be going on Saturday night. Right, so I will catch you guys at tomorrow night's video. Everybody stay as sane as possible in the world that we live in. Stay safe as well. Huge shout out to the moderators for doing such a fantastic job throughout these live streams. And I'll catch you guys at the next one. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Rock.